Did you know that the Philippines is located along the Ring of Fire? The Philippines is located somewhere here. This is not the actual location, but this is just for representation purposes only. The Ring of Fire refers to the region around the Pacific Ocean that is commonly hit by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. An earthquake is one of the most horrifying phenomena that anyone can ever experience. We first thought that the earth is rock solid and steady, however you may have experienced that the ground shakes, and this contradicts to what humans believed before. Earthquakes have caused destruction all over the world. Even in the past, people have started recording these events. No wonder scientists have been working very hard to find ways to predict when an earthquake occurs. We cannot stop this natural event from occurring, however we can learn all about earthquakes and prepare for it. On July 16, 1990, a strong earthquake hit Luzon. Have you heard about it? Maybe not, because it happened before you were born. But if your parents are from Luzon, they surely know about the earthquake. It is possible that they were even affected by it. During that earthquake, many people lost their lives and many more were injured. A lot of buildings and other structures were either damaged or destroyed. The earthquake had a magnitude of 7.8 and its epicenter was located in Nueva Ecija. According to scientists, the earthquake was caused by movement along the Philippine Fault. Earthquakes are associated with faults. When a fault suddenly moves, an earthquake occurs. A fault is a break in the Earth's crust, and along the break significant movement has taken place. The word break refers to a crack in the ground, while crust refers to the outermost layer of the Earth. We live on the surface of the crust and significant movement occurs. Significant movement means that the rocks have been displaced or shifted considerably. Can you spot the fault? If you look at the picture carefully, you can guess that the road was originally in one piece. But the road is no longer continuous. There is a cut across the road and now there are two sections. One section has moved with respect to the other. So, remember that a fault is a break in the Earth's crust, and along the break, significant movement has taken place. Faults consist of two rock blocks that displace each other during an earthquake or regular tectonic movement. One block is called the hanging wall, and the other is the footwall. Understanding the parts of a fault can help you identify what type of fault you're seeing. The main parts of a fault are: fault plane, the surface area between two rock blocks created by an earthquake; fault line, the visible crack in the Earth's crust that indicates where a fault is; fault scarp, the vertical step that rises during tectonic activity; hanging wall, the rock block that hangs over the fault plane; footwall, the rock block that occurs below the fault plane. Normal faults. This is the most common type of fault. It forms when rock above an inclined fracture plane moves downward, sliding along the rock on the other side of the fracture. In a reverse fault, the block above the fault moves up relative to the block below the fault. This fault motion is caused by compressional forces and results in shortening. Strike-slip faults are vertical, or nearly vertical, fractures where the blocks have mostly moved horizontally. Earthquakes are associated with faults. When a fault suddenly moves, an earthquake occurs. There is no movement right away because of friction. Once friction is overcome, the ground suddenly moves and an earthquake occurs. Some scientists describe this process as stick and slip. At first, the rocks are stuck together due to friction. Later, the rocks suddenly slip, generating an earthquake. Every time a fault slips, there is an earthquake. An earthquake is tectonic. It occurs when parts of the Earth's crust break and the rocks together with a fault slide near each other or far away from each other. This is often called faulting. An earthquake could also be volcanic. This is caused by the movement of magma beneath the surface of the Earth.